Well, welcome to another daily video devotion online. We continue our journey through the questions that Jesus asks us. And today's question for March 23rd, for Tuesday, March 23rd, is what if you gain the world but lose yourself? What if you gain the world but lose yourself? And it comes to us from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 9, and I'll read that portion to you now. Then he said to them all, "If any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me. For those who want to save their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake will save it. What does it profit them if they gain the whole world but lose or forfeit themselves? Those who are ashamed of me and my words, of them the Son of Man will be ashamed when he comes in his glory, and the glory of the Father and the holy angels. But truly I tell you, there are some standing here who will not taste death before they see the kingdom of God." So that's our text for today, and the question again, what if you gain the world but lose yourself? So I was thinking about this. I was thinking about life, our lives in this world, and how we are created by God as God's children, created with purpose, with intent. And often what happens is we shift away from that intent, from that purpose, through pursuing the ways of the world, right? The greed, desire, control, power, those kind of things are things that kind of shift our lives away from God's purpose, from God's intention for us. And over time, we end up so far from that, from who we were created to be in pursuing those things, that we end up losing who we are. And none of those things fulfill us in ways that are authentic and true to who we are intended to be. And Jesus is kind of saying that that's the life that you need to surrender. That's the life that you need to give up in order to realign your life with God's purpose, with the purpose for which you were created. And giving all that up, all those worldly things, is what allows us to realign to our intention, to who we are intended to be and who we are created to be. And it's one of those things that I think we realize deep down when we act, when we live out our intention, when we live the way, as Jesus is calling us into deeper discipleship through this time of Lent and through this study of the questions that Jesus is asking us, as we lean more deeply into that, and when we live our lives more aligned with what God created us for, when we sacrifice some of our time in order to spend time with someone who's lonely, to connect with someone, and we do that out of love. When we act out of love, we find ourselves fulfilled. There's something about that really feels good. When we act in service towards others, in love, again, there's something about that just feeds us, right? And that's aligning our intended purpose with our passions, with our joys, the things that give us joy. And so actually aligning with the discipleship that Christ calls us to is something that leads us to a much more fulfilling, much richer life as we pursue those things. And Jesus is kind of asking this question as a way of kind of pointing us back, right? Shifting our focus back away from from what the world is calling us to and towards what Jesus is calling us to. I wanted to read you this piece of the same text, but out of the Message, because I think it sounds a bit different, and I like this. Then he told them what they could expect for themselves. Anyone who intends to come with me has to let me lead. Allowing God, allowing Jesus to lead in our lives, not us. You're not in the driver's seat. I am. Don't run from suffering. Embrace it. Follow me, and I'll show you how. Self-help is no help at all. Self-sacrifice is the way, my way, to finding yourself, your true self. What good would it do to get everything you want and lose you, the real you? I think what this is pointing us to is getting us back to our authentic self, our true self, who we were created to be as God's child, as God's creation. So those are my thoughts about this question about gaining the world and yet losing ourselves. I hope that you find this journey that we're on helpful in your pursuit of deeper discipleship, and I wish you many blessings for the rest of the day.